She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
This is when the wheels fall off.
You're not.
Jasmine Crockett walked into the spotlight thinking her attitude and eyeliner would shut down the room, but Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly hit back like a wrecking crew with sharp jokes, hard facts, and no patience. Gutfeld roasted her so fiercely it felt like alarms should have gone off, while Megyn broke down her logic like a clumsy courtroom act. In the end, Jasmine brought sass to a chess match and got checkmated on live TV.
It's just, that's what she does. She puts out this video of her acting in a certain way, and that's how she fundraises.
Mm-hmm. We actually did a bit of a deep dive on her after my old colleague from Fox News, Todd Starnes, posted something on X not long ago, Walter. He posted the following. Jasmine Crockett wants you to think she's from the hood, that she grew up on the streets. The exact opposite is true. She attended an exclusive day school where tuition is nearly $35,000 a year. She also attended Rhodes College, a private school where tuition is nearly $55,000 a year. She's cosplaying a gangsta. So we looked up her background. She was born in St. Louis. She's 43. Her dad was a Baptist pastor and a teacher. Her mother worked in a post office. She graduated from Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School, one of the most expensive private schools in the city. Indeed, the current tuition, $35,000 a year.
She also attended Rhodes College, a private school with tuition close to $55,000 a year, while putting on a persona that often feels more like performance than politics. Her background shows she was born in St. Louis, now 43, with a father who was a Baptist pastor and teacher, and a mother who worked at the post office. She later graduated from Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School, one of the most expensive private schools in the city, with tuition around $35,000 a year. Jasmine Crockett stepped into the political arena as if she had wandered out of a Bravo reality show spinoff, mistaking C-SPAN for a stage where sass replaces substance. If TikTok meltdowns and Twitter clapbacks were real credentials, she'd already be Speaker of the House, Majority Leader, and maybe even calling herself Secretary of Sass. But the truth is, politics requires far more than dramatic posturing and a perfected side eye.
Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman. Roll it, Bertha.
The fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow? Is this because you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that whitewashed you?
That's not very woke, is it?
Now enter Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly, two media heavyweights who don't need filters, mood lighting, or emojis to make an impact. They weren't there to chit-chat, they came to roast, and not in the cozy marshmallow by the fire way, but with the intensity of a live demolition. It was as if Jasmine Crockett stumbled into a high-stakes Shark Tank interview dressed like a contestant from RuPaul's Drag Race, Filibuster Edition, completely unprepared for the arena she had walked into. This wasn't a debate with polite podium exchanges or scripted thank yous. It was a no-rules verbal demolition derby, and Jasmine showed up pedaling a tricycle straight into a monster truck rally.
Speaking of leftist hypocrisy and cluelessness, Jasmine Crockett is a rising star amongst the far-left progressives in this country. She's a representative from Houston, Texas, of all places, which makes no sense because she seems to be far too left for Houston, but apparently not because they elected her. It must be like, Orange County in California being like the one outlier in an otherwise uniformly state, like all red with the one blue, all blue with the one red. Okay, so Jasmine Crockett got up at a Los Angeles dinner this past Saturday, and it was hosted by, this is perfect, the Human Rights Campaign.
Let's be real. Greg Gutfeld brought the energy of a sharp-witted raccoon who's memorized every line of the Constitution and turned sarcasm into his deadliest weapon. At the same time, Megyn Kelly entered the scene with the authority of a principal breaking up a chaotic cafeteria food fight, calm yet commanding. And there was Jasmine, tossing verbal mashed potatoes without a clue that the entire cafeteria was being recorded in crystal clear 4K for the world to replay again and again.
That was 3 years ago. The ones of her just sounding like a normal person talking. 3 years, not like that was 20 years, but then she moved to Mississippi for all that time. That was 3 years ago. She sounded like a totally normal person. It's only now she's got her accent and she's going to kick everybody's ass. It's such an affectation.
Crockett's entire political brand runs on aesthetic outrage. The congressional version of tossing glitter on a lawsuit. It's loud, it's shiny, it grabs attention, but peel back the sparkle, and all that's left is a giant nothing burger served with a heavy side of sass. What she delivered wasn't real legislative debate, it was pure cosplay, a performance caught somewhere between I'm reclaiming my time and can I finish my sentence? In the process, she seemed to forget that governing takes more than dramatic pauses and camera-ready glares designed for viral clips.
Is she making any point there?
Like this makes me wish my mom made different father choices.
Greg never even needed to raise his voice. Just a few dry, cutting observations, and Crockett's entire argument collapsed like a bargain bin suit from a campaign donor. He treated her talking points the way a cashier treats expired coupons, invalid, irrelevant, and not worth redeeming in any serious discussion. Every time Jasmine puffed up for what she clearly thought would be a mic drop moment, Greg barely blinked, the picture of someone so unimpressed he could have solved a Sudoku puzzle mid-rant and still had time to roast her before she finished. Then came Megyn Kelly, whose very presence makes people sit straighter without her lifting a finger. While Jasmine acted like she was auditioning for a congressional remake of Mean Girls, Megyn arrived with facts, timelines, receipts, and the ability to eviscerate without raising her tone. Watching her dismantle Jasmine's political persona was like witnessing an IRS auditor with a personal grudge. Methodical, merciless, and strangely satisfying. And since this wasn't a debate, no one had to wait their turn, giving Megyn free reign to slice into Crockett's record like a frog in biology class. The spoiler? There wasn't much to examine. Jasmine's contribution to American governance reads more like a failed group project where she only showed up to add emojis to the PowerPoint and then bragged she carried the team.
So this is funny. Jasmine Crockett sits on the Judiciary Committee, and about a month ago, Walter, I testified.
Yes,
before the
we saw
Judiciary
this.
Committee. Yeah, and the hearings, the full committee hearings, are quite long. You can be there for over 4 hours. So, and they let the most junior members ask questions last. So I had to sit for quite a long time. And then at the very end, Jasmine Crockett, who I had never heard before, suddenly started screaming at me and Michael Schellenberger. And when you're a witness in Congress, you have to pay attention to what everybody says, because you never know when you're going to be asked an actual question and allowed to, maybe even allowed to speak. But I could not understand what she was saying. She was moving from one thing to another, and she was doing all that code switching stuff with the y'alls and y'all eyeing on this and everything.
Gutfeld cuts straight to the uncomfortable truth. Crockett doesn't do policy, she does performances. Her entire brand is built on the illusion of resistance, complete with finger snaps, eye rolls, and Instagram captions that play better online than in the halls of Congress. It's not that she lacks intelligence, it's that she thrives on intellectual dishonesty, especially when the cameras are rolling and the hashtag potential is high. What she really needs isn't another debate, but a PR manager and maybe a legislative mentor to remind her that Congress isn't an improv comedy club with a dress code. The most telling moment came when Jasmine tried to spin a soundbite about fighting for the people. and Gutfeld didn't even bother to rebut. It took just a smirk and a pause, and the silence alone exposed the hollowness like a spotlight shining on a mime with no act. Megyn, meanwhile, stayed unshaken, her stone-faced composure the kind that comes only from someone who's survived 5 presidential election cycles and more media storms than a real housewife in her 6th divorce. Crockett's supporters may call her bold, but so is someone yelling at a drive-through speaker. Loud doesn't mean right, and volume doesn't equal virtue. While Jasmine turned every appearance into a tantrum fit for memes, Greg and Megyn delivered a surgical takedown so precise it could serve as political masterclass titled How Not to Embarrass Yourself in Public While Pretending to Sound Smart.
This woman, I've had about enough of her. She wants to be like a member of the squad. She thinks of herself like an AOC. She talks like, she's from the hood. Meanwhile, she grew up in a nice family. She didn't talk like this 3 years ago. 3 years ago, she sounded like you and I sound in this conversation. Like, I'm really excited to be going to Congress. I can't wait to get started on my new job. And now she's like, we need to smack him in the head.
We know that we work for the American people. And what we not gonna do is stand around while they pull this that they trying to pull right now.
Like, what do you, we have videotape. Why are you talking like that? No one believes this bullshit. And now she's graduated to acting like a thug. So congratulations, your term in the U.S. Congress is going really well.
That was a great impression.
She tossed out empty buzzwords like confetti at a New Year's Eve party, hoping something might land. But this wasn't Times Square. It was a political roast, and Crockett was the turkey on the table. Her defense strategy boiled down to rolling her eyes so dramatically it looked like she might sprain an optic nerve, while Megyn calmly countered with bills, voting records, and a dose of reality Jasmine clearly hadn't touched since her last viral tweet. It wasn't even a contest. Crockett showed up with vibes, while Gutfeld and Kelly brought footnotes. The contrast was almost poetic. Jasmine imagines herself delivering sermons from Mount Olympus, yet in reality, she operates on little more than Twitter thread energy. After such a blazing takedown, you'd think she might step back, reevaluate, maybe even open a civics textbook, or dare we dream, read an actual bill, but instead, she doubled down like someone trying to play Uno cards in a courtroom. Reverse, skip, draw 4. It all backfired spectacularly, because this time Greg and Megyn weren't playing games. They were delivering reality checks, and Jasmine's bounced harder than her press conference promises.
Do you share your boxcar with people of color?
I do.
Yeah.
My boxcar does not know race, does not know gender. It is a welcome space where only deodorant is not welcome. I like this Jasmine Crockett lady, right?
It's a great name, isn't it, for a villain?
Yeah.
Crockett is the whitest last name you could ever have. Yeah. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Sonny Crockett, Miami Vice.
Yes.
It's like the whole thing is like, because I've seen her, she's very well spoken, and then she gets on certain programs and lets it. So maybe this whole thing is like a Netflix documentary, like a new spin on Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde.
And the truth is, none of this was personal. Gutfeld and Kelly weren't targeting her appearance. They were dismantling the hollow influencer-style activism that turns every hearing into a BuzzFeed headline. 29 times, Jasmine Crockett eyeballed her way to justice. If she devoted even half the energy to actual legislation that she spends curating camera angles, she might pass something more substantial than a glorified tweet in committee form. Results matter. That's the point of politics. And Gutfeld, with his trademark dry annihilation, exposed the obvious. Jasmine's resume reads like someone Googled how to sound woke in 3 easy steps and quit at step 1. No landmark bills, no major initiatives, just plenty of noise wrapped in a cloud of self-importance. Crockett treats change as a retweet from a blue-check influencer under a ring light, while Megyn Kelly cut through the performance with the sharpness of a chainsaw through butter. When you strip it all down, Crockett's career isn't about serving the public. It's about building the brand of Jasmine Crockett. That's not public service. That's a PR campaign masquerading as politics, dressed up in delusions of grandeur.
But she is going to be the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
You are going to be so glad she popped up
around
on the scene.
That's going to make up for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. She's going to we're going to get a segment a day from her.
You ever watch someone dodge accountability by turning it into a TED Talk about their feelings? That's Jasmine in a nutshell. I feel attacked isn't a policy, and I feel disrespected doesn't build infrastructure. But it sure racks up likes, shares, and enough outrage to keep the cameras rolling, which is all she seems to want. Greg Gutfeld nailed it perfectly, comparing her politics to microwaving a frozen dinner and calling it home cooking. Lots of noise, no flavor, and ultimately unsatisfying. She pieces together platitudes like flat-pack IKEA furniture, quick, flimsy, and guaranteed to collapse under pressure. Her whole playbook is built on volume, not substance. When in doubt, shout. When cornered, flail. When proven wrong, accuse the air itself of being part of the problem. Yet somehow she imagines herself as Rosa Parks with a ring light. Spoiler, Rosa Parks didn't film her activism in portrait mode. Megyn didn't even need to go on the offensive to reveal the hollowness. She simply pointed, and Jasmine's talking points evaporated faster than campaign promises the morning after Election Day. It was almost poetic. A walking contradiction who demands justice but won't do the homework, cries oppression while holding a press badge, and protests ignorance while wearing it like an accessory.
Like, this is, if you're going to talk about black history, at least know it. This is, at least know it, okay? But it goes back to, that was 45 seconds of some of the, like, Kamala, you good right now. That was some of the dumbest I ever heard in my life. Here's the thing. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. They never have a solution. Just listen to your dumbass talk. You want to talk about agriculture? Why don't you fix the lottery? Why don't you make it easier for people who want to come into this country to work in agriculture and equitation?
Crockett's signature political weapon isn't policy or persuasion, it's the stare. That same stare she throws out whenever she's run out of arguments but still wants the room to believe she's holding some secret wisdom, like a magic 8 ball filled with nothing but attitude. The problem? Greg and Megyn weren't buying it. They've seen that trick too many times before. It's not power, it's a stall tactic dressed up as defiance. The roasting was so complete it didn't even need a rebuttal. Her silence wasn't golden, it was forced. The kind of collapse where someone runs out of spin mid-sentence and realizes the applause will never come. And let's be honest, this wasn't an off day for Jasmine Crockett. It was the day, a live showcase of her entire congressional career, which so far has been a masterclass in being loud and wrong. She doesn't show up to contribute, she struts in like Congress's amateur night at a slam poetry bar, convinced it's her personal open mic. But in reality, where results matter more than TikTok tantrums, Gutfeld and Kelly's takedown felt like a reset, the much needed moment someone finally said, can we stop pretending vibes equal vision? Because Crockett isn't representing her constituents. She's farming followers. You'd think after being turned into a meme by 2 of the sharpest commentators alive, she'd retreat, rethink, maybe trade sass for substance. But no, she'll likely triple down with a statement written in emojis, filmed from the back seat of a Tesla while sipping Starbucks and misquoting Malcolm X. The full sweep of destruction was undeniable. Gutfeld, with his trademark bored precision, peeled Crockett like a banana and made it clear, if your entire strategy is performative outrage, you're not a politician, you're a YouTube reaction channel in a blazer. And Megyn, she didn't just dismantle Crockett's argument, she audited her entire political soul, the kind of takedown so sharp it felt like watching someone roasted in Latin and still understanding every painful word. This was brutal brilliance. More brain than brawl. Crockett wasn't ready for a mental chess match. She showed up armed for a slap fight. And the punchline. She still thinks she won, as if surviving a verbal bloodbath counts as victory. Like a contestant finishing last on Survivor, insisting they played the best social game. No, Jasmine. You didn't play. You got played.